Hello everybody, my name is Khaled Siddiqui, and in this video I'm going to teach you guys how to use and take full advantage of your TomTom XL or XXL GPS unit with uh, firmware version uh, 9.510. And now keep in mind that unlike Garmin GPS units, unlike Garmin or other brands, TomTom uh, user interface or GUI, um, graphic user interface or GUI, is different based on what version of the operating system is loaded. They call it nav core or navigation core. Depending on that, the GUI or interface is different. That's why for the same exact TomTom, there could be more than one educational or learning video. Same as computers, like if you have Windows XP or Windows 7 or Windows 8, the tutorial for the same computer will differ based on the operating system. So basically it's the exact same concept here. This is one of the latest 9.510. Okay, so I'm going to explain how to take full advantage of this unit. First thing you need to know that this GPS unit is one of the greatest GPS devices ever made by TomTom. It has a large 5-inch screen and very reliable navigation system. The first thing you want to do is customize the GPS unit based on your specific needs. So how do we do that? You go to options, you go to the right arrow once, twice, and click on reset factory settings. Click on that and click on yes. It will ask you again to confirm, and you can just click on yes again. After you clicked on yes twice, the unit will go to a restart and it will ask you to choose which language you want. Now this is not the voice language, this is the language or region of the GPS, the region language of the GPS. So we would like to choose English United States. That's yes. Okay, so this is a no-brainer. You could see what it says, but I'm just gonna click on it. Just click on the screen and follow on that. If you're right-handed, you want to choose right. If you're left-handed, you want to choose left hand. And if this is used in the United States or the United Kingdom, you have to choose miles. Anywhere else in the world, you have to choose kilometers. So this is being used in the US, so I'm going to keep it where it is, miles. Now the time format, we have military type, time, standard time, so you have to pick one. We would like to choose the standard or the default, which is the standard time. Then we can adjust the time of our location. And then you click on done. Okay, now it's going through let me go back. So would you like to set your home address? I will say no. Would you like to a brief tour? You could say yes if you want to, but I don't need a brief tour. And then we click on continue. I don't want to do the join map share because if you're traveling somewhere, it will ask you to connect to a computer, and if you don't have a computer available, it's going to be a lot of problems. You don't want your GPS to be bound with connection to a computer, and a lot of map corrections made by people are not accurate as the one from the GPS manufacturer. So I would like to decline and continue. So will you help us to allow, you could say yes or no. I don't recommend. I click no. For your own privacy, you don't want any of your addresses, your locations, or anything to be shared with the factory. Just click no. You don't want that, and you need to agree to this. You have no choice. And here we go. Now we are back in the main screen. Now, how do we use this unit? First, I'm going to go to the settings and options. If you go to options, this is your volume preferences. You click on that and link the volume with speed of your vehicle. If you notice, sometimes as you exit the freeway, your GPS or your radio appears to be too loud because you had it adjusted for the freeway when there's a lot of ambient noise coming around. So once you exit the freeway, you would like the volume to drop. So that's why you have to link it to the car speed. As the car goes faster, the volume increases. As the car goes slower, the volume decreases. And here's how you test it.
You have reached your destination. You have reached your destination.
Okay, so I'm going to click done. Now we will go again to options and explore other settings. Brightness preferences, day color brightness, and then we have night color brightness. You have to choose and switch to night colors when it's dark. It's good to have that checked. And then we have driving view. You want it horizontal or vertical. So obviously it's better to have it horizontal, just like your vehicle windshield. So it's good to have it this way, but you could always use it vertical if you wanted to. Next, show on the status bar what things you would like it to show. Maximum speed, current time, remaining distance, leeway, show lane guidance. All those things you can check and it will show. Now you could check all of it, but the more options you check, the fewer area will be left for your map. So the fewer options you check, the bigger your map will be. Okay, so see, enable automatic zooming in 2D view, enable automatic zooming in 3D view. That's both are checked, which is good. Now what is automatic zooming? Like when you're on the freeway going a lot faster, it zooms out so it doesn't show small streets. But as soon as you exit and your vehicle slows down, it will automatically zoom in to that exit with smaller streets that you might turn into right or left. Okay, so show point of interest. Which point of interest you want it to show on your screen? The more points of interest you choose, the more crowded your screen will be. So just choose the ones that are important for you. Gas stations are very important, airports, train stations, ferry terminals, and campgrounds, and all these things are not that important. But if you are going camping, then the first thing you want to choose is to make sure it shows the campgrounds, depending on camping grounds or bus stations, car dealerships. Depending on where you're going, you want to choose which ones to show. Okay. Now let me tell you something. When you say choose point of interest on your route, those are the little icons that will appear. Let me click on done, show you here. Like these are the streets, and then the little icons will appear showing those points of interest. So that doesn't mean that if you choose if you don't choose campground, you cannot navigate to a campground. It will simply not appear on the screen as you're passing by one. For example, here, as you can see, there are a couple of train stations. These train stations appear because I only chose like a select few points of interest. My screen is not cluttered with a lot of points of interest, only 4 items, 4 train stations here. And if I would have chosen other ones, these little boxes would have been filled up on the screen. It creates confusion. So it's good to choose just those important points of interest that you're interested in. Home and favorites. You can add a location to your favorites. You can manage your favorites. You can change your home location or add your home location. This way, with a single click, you can navigate to your house. If you're traveling to a place and you would like to add all your destinations to your favorites, you can add. You could punch in the address and add it to the favorites. And every time when you go, you simply click on favorites and it will take you there by selecting from the list of your favorite locations. Manage favorites means if you have added something in your favorites and you would like to remove it, or you would like to change the address of that favorite, this is where you manage them. So that is favorites. Voice and images. Now voice is very important to set the correct voice and the images. The color scheme is if you would like the map, which color combination would you like the map to be, and you have advanced, which you could choose different types of names. This is night colors, and you have the simple one. Okay, and then we have set night color scheme. Same way, you could choose which color you would like for night. At nighttime, you would like to choose a darker color so it doesn't blind you when you're driving at nighttime. The GPS screen could be really bright and it could be dangerous to drive when it's kind of blinding you where it's super brightness. So be careful when you're using that. Okay, change car symbol. Right now, that's symbol. You could choose any car symbol for your vehicle. That will be the image of the vehicle that will be moving on the map. So okay, change voice. Now this is important to pay attention to. Every voice is not equipped with TTS. The TTS, or text to speech, is the voice that speaks the street names, like this one. Suzanne speaks the street names. All the rest is just this one also speaks the street names. Now if you want to test the quality of each voice to see which one you want to choose from, you simply click on it like that and test it.
You have reached your destination.
Click on the next one, test it.
After 300 meters, you've reached your destination. Exit the roadway as soon as able and taxi to parking. Resume normal navigation. Good day.
Okay, this is like a funny sound.
At the end of the road. Take the ferry. Ferry? Whoa.
Turn around when possible.
After 300 meters, park the car. You're here.
So there are some funny voices. Keep in mind that the ones that have speaks the street name with a female computer voice, it's not as clear as a human recorded voice. So that's the drawback, but at least it speaks the street name. So that's the benefit. Now you could change the startup image when the unit turns on, what image you want it to be. That's not a big deal. Nothing to worry about. I mean, basically your life doesn't depend on that one, what image comes. This is the shutdown image, what image you would like to show when the unit shuts off. And those are the preferences of sound and images. Now if we go to the right arrow, we have switching maps. Now if your GPS is equipped with more than one map, this one only has one map, USA, Canada, and Mexico. But if it were to have more than one map, the list would be right here, and then you would choose whichever map you want to choose. GPSs that have more than one country usually have different regions separate. For example, you could have North America, South America, Central America, Europe, Northern Europe, Eastern Europe, Western Europe, like that. So same thing with Australia and whatnot. So map correction, if you see a problem with a map, you could do a map correction, but this again requires a computer because you have to enter the information to your computer. It creates complications. I would stay away from it because, like I said, a lot of map corrections done by other people may not be accurate, so it's good to stay away from that and only rely on the map by the manufacturer. And manage points of interest, which point of interest you want to show. I already spoke about that, so I'm not going to waste time on that. Disabled speed cameras or enable speed cameras. This unit is equipped to warn you if you're about to approach a camera, which will take your picture if you're going fast, or it will take your picture if you're going through a red light. And this disable and enable is here where it disables the warning or enables the warning. Obviously you don't want to disable it, so it's good to have it enabled. Okay, now planning preferences is very important. Not all TomToms have this option. Only the ones with upgraded firmware, they have this option. And planning preferences is basically telling you how to plan your route, such as ask me every time I plan. Always plan fastest routes. Always plan shortest routes. Fastest route could include freeways, because even though the distance is longer, but it will get you there faster because you're going at a high speed. Always plan shortest route will take you to the least distance, but it could have tons of red lights, and you will get there at longer time. So it's good to choose always the fastest route. And then always avoid highways. If your vehicle is not allowed to enter a highway, for example, let's say you're riding a bicycle, you cannot be going inside highways in a bicycle, so you have to avoid it. So in that case, if this GPS is being used in a bicycle, you have to check this one. If you're a pedestrian or if you're walking, you have to check this one. This one, always plan walking routes, and always plan bicycle routes, always plan for limited speed, and then always switch to the route. See, if the traffic situation changes and we discover a significantly faster route, what do you want it to do? Always switch to that route. Ask me if I want that route. It's good to do the ask me, because you don't want it automatically changing your route without your knowledge, just because it thinks that's the faster route. Okay. How do you want to handle toll roads? If you're traveling alone, no, this is not a carpool lane. I apologize. This is a toll road. This is the road where it costs you money to go. So if you're planning to pay the toll road, you can let it go there all the time. Never avoid toll roads. But if you want the GPS to ask you whether you want to take a toll road or not, then you want to choose that. And if you choose this one, it will always avoid toll roads. Now, when you say avoid toll roads or ask me, that's when you're planning a route. So let's say you're wanting to go from point A to point B, and the GPS sees that there is a toll road involved, then it will take you from a much longer distance or time-consuming route because you have chosen to avoid toll roads. Now, I traveled in Italy and France and some different countries in Europe, and honestly, I rather pay the toll and get sooner to my point of interest sooner or wherever I'm going, because those little villages and streets could really consume your gas and your time, and you will probably paying more in gas than the amount of toll, even though the toll is pretty expensive there. It was like 18 euros in Italy when I was going from Austria to Venice. I had to pay $18, 18 euros toll. Okay, so how do you want to handle ferries? So of course, if your vehicle is too big and you cannot go inside the ferry, you need to avoid it. So that's how you choose it. How do you want to handle carpool lanes? Now, if you're traveling alone, always you need to avoid it. If you are traveling alone sometimes, but you have company other times, then you have to choose ask. If you're always traveling with company, then click never avoid carpool lanes. If you're alone, always avoid carpool lanes, and this one will ask you, how do you want to handle unpaved roads? Depending on your vehicle's capability, so you can choose the right option for you. Do you want the route summary screen to close automatically after 10 seconds? Yeah, well, that's up to you. That's a self-explanatory question. Okay, so this was planning. Now let's go to the right arrow. This is change the language. Now changing the language is the language of the keyboard and everything. So we are at US English, but you could change it to a different language. Set units. This is like choosing kilometers and miles and all the units of measurement. Setting the clock. Keyboard preferences. This is obvious, you know. Units, minutes, degrees, and then the clock. Keyboard preferences, right-handed or left-handed, and then Latin keyboard or Cyrillic keyboard, large keyboard, small keyboard. ABCD is very confusing. QWERTY is standard, like your home computer, so choose that one. Okay, so this is factory reset. We already did that, and this goes back to the same screen. Now we did the options. Now we will see how do we navigate. To navigate, you press on plan route and select a country where you want to go. United States. You could choose a different country if you wanted to, like Canada. I believe this has maps of Canada, maybe not. Yeah, there it is. You could choose Canada or United States. So let's choose United States. There you go. Now, address. Now we have to choose which state of the United States. So let's say we are going to Washington, D.C. If not, you can choose a different state, like, different city. Oh, actually, this is a city. This is not a state, city. So we want to go to California. So let's switch to California. It's San Diego. Let's go back to San Diego. Oops, my bad. San Diego. There you go, California. Now you need to punch in the street. Let's say we're going to 300 Broadway. Let's say we're going to 300. Oh, actually, it's asking for the street. I apologize. This is not the address. San Diego, California. It's asking for the street. Broadway. BR. Oh. Broadway. Now is the house number. Let's choose 300. Done. Now if this address doesn't exist, it will give me the closest suggestion. Okay. So I guess it does exist, and now it's busy planning the route, but I'm going to cancel it because I'm indoors. It doesn't get any satellite signal or anything. Okay, so this was how you were going to enter a address manually, and now I will show you how to plan a route from a recent destination. It's somewhere you have already been. You click here and you choose. This is where remember this address I just entered, so there it is. So I go back. Your home is not entered, favorites not entered, but you could go home or to your favorites. You could go to points of interest, click on points of interest, point of interest in city or near me. Why the point of interest near me is grayed out? Because it doesn't have satellite signals. That's why it's grayed out. Once you get satellite signals, all of these options will be bright. And we have pointer on map. You can put your finger on the map and say, take me there. This is the option for that. And this is longitude and latitude. This comes in handy in some countries where the exact address is not known or the addressing system is very complicated. I used this in Italy when I was staying at a hotel. Then the street names were very complicated and I don't speak Italian. So I asked them to give me the longitude and latitude, and I simply entered that and went from there. And make sure to choose the longitude and latitude correctly, or else the N and S, north, south, east, west. Make sure to choose those correctly, because if you don't, oh boy, you have no idea how much problems you're going to see. So next, and that's it. So basically that was a detailed review and guidance on how to use this. This is your volume control. Let's get, okay, so that's your volume.
You have reached your destination.
And you can slide it up and down to increase or decrease your volume. And if you want to see the version of your GPS, you click on this icon, and this is your version. this is the operating system version, and if you want to see the map version, click on that, and this is all the information about your map version and everything. So basically that's how you use it. If you have any questions, please let me know, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.